I just got back from Joe Bracey's workshop, who I look up to. He's a hero of mine. And one of the things he said in class was, I decorate my studio because I want it to look like my bedroom when I was 17.
Welcome to the ZHZ Podcast. Today's guest is a hometown legend, drummer for several bands, and an audio engineer. Introducing Dave Hunsaker of L-Town Productions. Dave, how's it going, man?
Good.
Welcome
What's
to
up,
the podcast.
Guys? What's up?
What's up, Dave?
Zach, Matt. It's been a minute, Matt. Good to see you.
Good to see you,
guys,
man.
sir.
So, I in the introduction, I mentioned that you were in a lot of projects. You're super talented. You're a drummer. You're an audio engineer. You got your hands in all kinds of stuff. But I thought usually we start with the first of the show. We kind of go back in time a little bit. And the first question that I have is, how did you get started in music? We know that you play the drums. And we also know that you're an engineer, but what was the first song or piece of music that you learned? And how did that feel, share your music with an audience for the first time?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if I even spoke about this before, but this goes back to summer before 7th grade. Two things happened. I got into piano lessons. My mom made me take piano, and I thank her for it now, but I didn't really want to do it back then.
Right.
Also, I started woodwinds. A lot of people don't know this in band for junior high. I played clarinet. I wanted drums. The seats were full. Then I asked for sax.
Right. That's what I asked for, and I got offered clarinet, and I turned it down.
And
But you took
I got
it.
offered clarinet, and I took it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it Mr. Visser? No, what school?
It was
what
Mr.
junior high did you go
Heath.
to? Okay, so
Central. Yeah.
all right,
Central,
okay,
Mr. Heath.
yeah. That's so funny because I had the same sort of setup. Yeah.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah. So woodwinds, me and Matt, horns, it's awesome. I love horns, you guys, still to this day, but obviously you lose your aperture, or what do you call it, Matt?
Embouchure.
Embouchure, thank you.
Embouchure.
And couple things happened that summer. You asked about the first time I played in front of people. I actually did a recital about 6 months later at the Layton Library, and I played When the Saints Go Marching In on piano.
Nice. How was
And
that,
then, of
man?
course, huh?
How was that? How was that?
I killed it. I practiced. It's an easy song. It's in the key of C. It's quite easy.
But did it give you that rush, kind of give you that rush feeling of people clapping and
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I loved it. I mean, I took to it, man. And then simultaneously, I started choir. So I did all 6 years of choir, junior high and high school. So boys choir, concert choir. So
right. Nice, man.
And then I immediately started doing recitals for woodwinds, and I did recitals for choir. So, I mean, that's my story.
So that's where you started. When did you get a drum set, man?
So so leading up to getting the drum set, my brother-in-law had a drum set down in the basement when he was living with us, and I was 15, and when he was gone, I would go play it. And I immediately understood it. I knew that I wanted a kit, and I knew that I could play it.
That was your aha.
A couple things going here is it was set up right-handed. Okay.
Right.
And so I'm left-handed, as you know. So I had to learn to play right-handed open. So it was weird. Okay. So I was playing like this with my right foot. Okay.
Yeah.
Right-handed open, as we call it.
Describe it audibly so people can, because not everyone's going to watch the video.
On the left hand, open to the left side hats, ride to the right, snare with the right hand in the middle, and I was kicking with my right foot.
Okay, yeah.
Where left-handed drums would be left hand on the hats to the right, snare in the middle, main primary kick would be your left foot, okay?
Okay, I got you. Maybe that's why I could never do the drums.
Somebody that plays right-handed open, a good example would be Mike Borden of Faith No More. He plays right-handed open.
Okay.
Excuse me, left-handed open.
Left-handed open, yeah.
Yeah, he plays left-handed open, Mike Borden.
And I've seen it on occasion, and it's like, I try to learn to play a kit. I'm left-handed too, but every kit that I've ever played on has always been right, and it's always kind of like I've always struggled with it. So maybe that's why. I don't know, but
That is why. Yeah,
I didn't realize
could
that
show
we
you
were
how to
going to
do
be.
it.
I was going to two left-handers on the show, man. I don't know.
yeah,
two lefties don't make a righty, though.
no, that's right, Dad. Well, right
Do
on,
they?
dude.
Or do they?
So what was your what was who were some of your biggest influences when you started getting into drumming and performing and like taking it to that next level?
Okay, so here's when I got my kit. As you know, we lost my mom in '89. Okay, God bless her soul. When she died, she left me some money. With that money, I went and bought my first drum kit at Guitar City. Jeremy sold me the kit.
Oh, okay. From Nine Spine?
Yes.
Yeah, Nine Spine Stickleback. All right, cool.
What's his last name? Chamber. I don't remember his last name, you guys. Anyway, shout out Jeremy. So I would have been 16 going on 17 when I bought that kit. And I was hooked, yeah. And I was immediately in a band as well with Nick. So we immediately started the band. So I was learning drums while in a band.
How did you meet Nick? Was he a
At a
schoolmate
party.
or
He, I hung out with Emily Coronado. He hung out with Laura Weintier. He was showing up as a freshman to all our junior parties and sophomore parties.
Okay.
So Nick and I started hanging out early
wow.
on.
So you've known him forever too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Do you remember? So coming up through, so many of us come up through in school band, school choir, all of that stuff. Do you remember there being a moment outside of those activities where you had, and we call it the aha moment, where you had a moment where it's like, it's not just that you enjoy doing this and this is something I'm going to do in school, but like you saw that you looked at music performance, music production and said, like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to devote my life to.
And the answer B, I think there were several kind of in a row, but I think one of them was,
there's no wrong
you
answer,
guys know
baby.
Ryan
This
Stevens?
is the ZHZ show,
Yeah.
man. It's all
Yeah,
you,
baby.
baby.
Yeah.
We know Ryan Stevens. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
so he was in my choir class and he played drums. Okay, we had a big concert choir, and I brought my synthesizer because I was playing keyboards obviously back then too. I brought my synthesizer and Ryan Stevens brought his drum set, and they were to be used in this number. Okay, and I wasn't playing the piano. It was actually Mrs. Miner just wanted to borrow my synthesizer, and Ryan played drums along to the piece. Okay, so it was synthesizer, choir, and drums. And when we were rehearsing, I asked Ryan if I could sit down and play a beat, and he let me play, and I sat down and played U2 Sunday
U2
Bloody
song.
Sunday.
Yeah, cool. Good song.
Anyway, I think that was the moment. I really do. I think that was the moment leading up to
where you
that number.
Nice, man. Nice.
Well, and
And we
Ryan's a
killed it.
huge U2 fan.
We
to
killed
boot,
that
so.
too, man. It was sick.
Yeah. So
Love it.
throughout the episode, we go through a few of these songs. We're going to go ahead and cue up the first one. This is go ahead and talk to us a little bit about this project, Neurodivergent.
Okay, the project is Ariel's Bones. I approached Jeff when he released the ZHZ Katzen album because I
So
felt
this is
like
Jeff Huso.
Jeff
Yeah,
Huso,
Jeff.
thank you.
Right.
I approached him when he released that album because I loved his writing, and I thought that I wanted to do a project with him in that vein, and it was very much in the Apophis vein, an industrial kind of thing going. But I wanted to take his melody and his songwriting to kind of a serious level, because obviously ZHZ Katzen's kind of a fun, less serious, funny thing. But I wanted those melodies and his songcraft put to more of a serious, brooding tone, okay? So that's where we came up with the band name and we started writing. And so Jeff sends his stems and skeletons, and then Nick and I reinforce them, and then I mix them. So that's what that is. And it's fun as hell. I love this project. It's cool. We're 3 songs deep and working on number 4.
Excellent, man. So this is you, this is Nick Huff, this is Jeff Huso.
Correct. And this first song, the one I put on his list, is called Neurodivergent. And it is very much Jeff's songwriting with Nick and I reinforcing.
Okay.
Let's see. I've got a frozen frame.
You do.
But
at least you're not picking your nose or like looking.
Yeah. Let me see if I can tap out and get into
Freeze frame.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's up, Matt?
I'm in Longmont, Colorado this week.
No way. You're looking good.
Thanks, man.
I miss you.
I miss you too, brother.
We used to hang out a lot.
Well, you know, life.
Remember when we were in the restaurant business together? That was fun.
I do not miss the restaurant business at all.
Me neither.
Dude.
That sure looks good on you, though. It looks like it fits.
It fits now, man. It didn't fit when you gave it to me.
You've lost some weight then, I would have to speculate.
Yeah, I dropped, since January, I've dropped a little over 100 pounds.
That's amazing, bro. You look good, man.
Thanks, man.
Good for you.
It's
good for
the
you. I'm
revenge
trying
tour.
as well. I've been biking a lot. I feel good.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm just trying to get a little bit of weight off myself. But
yeah,
it's hard,
I'm
isn't it?
mostly
It's
through
way easier to
depriving
put
myself
on,
of all of the
way harder to take off.
And I'm just it's been a lot of depriving myself of the things that I like to eat.
Sure. Yeah, I feel that.
But
Something
it
to feel
doesn't
good
get
about.
any easier, man. We're not getting any younger.
No. But if you feel good, then it's a win, right?
Absolutely.
Good.
So yeah, this is the first time we've done this when I've been.
Cool, man. So you're out there on the trail for work, huh?
Yep.
Awesome.
I'll
Good.
be probably back here again week after next, and then in October I'm going to be in Cheyenne for a week. But yeah, man.
Cool.
Oh shit. So how's your? I mean, you're busy as shit, man. How you're spinning so many damn plates.
I am. I'm a workaholic, bro. But I'm an empty nester, so I got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Our boy just got married. He moved out. We got one 19-year-old left, and he doesn't require much, so he does his own thing, and I'm down here in the studio a lot. So I'm kind of having a creative resurgence, using my time as wisely as possible, I guess. That's kind of what I'm doing.
Right.
And I also put 50 hours a week in at work, too, So I basically work every night in the studio, basically. I take a couple nights off here and there, but I'm working almost every night.
Where do you work? What's your day job?
I do finance for Ed Kinley Ford. I've been doing finance for 20 years, but I moved over to Ed Kinley Ford about 5 years ago because a position opened up. They headhunted me, and I moved over there, and it's a very nice atmosphere. They're very cool to me.
Nice.
It's pretty mom and pop. I like the mom and pop thing, for sure. So a little more flexibility.
Zak's back, baby.
You see me?
Zak back.
He's a Lego maniac.
I had to change my cameras. It's annoying when that happens. So where were we at? We were talking about Neurodivergent.
Please. All right, well, let's hear it, man. Zak, spin that wax. This is Neurodivergent by Ariel's Bones.
To listen to this song, please utilize the link below.
Dig it.
Sick, right?
Nice,
Very
man. Nice. Good job.
Dig it so much, man.
Thanks.
So,
Yeah, dude, it's
Neurodivergent.
cool.
Ariel Bones is that kind of like one of the side projects that you were doing or involved in, or?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was a way to get a collaboration going with Jeff, and in that vein that I spoke of, the industrial elements, rock, Jeff's really cool vintage instruments he has, the Rickenbackers and the Vox amps, and just his textures and aesthetics kind of mixed with my production,
No, yeah. Then he's got his signature style that
I love it.
You
And
can
he's so
definitely
melodic
hear.
too. He's got a melodic sense about him that's just so cool.
So is
Right
that
on.
project kind of a one-off, or is that going to be something that's kind of ongoing in
It's all,
perpetuity?
we're
kind
gonna
of a
do
thing?
a whole album. So he's
Right on,
like,
man.
we're doing an EP, a few songs. I go, dude, let's just take our time and just write for the purpose. Don't be too.
Isn't that cool though, man? Is that like when you I mean, being at a point of, because you've had so much over your career of where it was really intensely live band, and live performance and gigging, man, from years, and then to now to be able to do projects that are passion projects that you're doing because you want to do them, but you can take your time. You don't have any specific deadline that you have to meet.
Absolutely. I look at the studio as kind of a different beast. I'm okay with writing something in the studio solely to make a record. Like we'll most likely never do a gig, but it's okay. But we want to put a record out.
That's
And,
cool. I think it's great because you actually, most of the stuff you do, like, well, how many songs does Ariel Bones have you guys done so far?
So we got 3 and we're working on 4.
So right out of the gate, you always have like a sandbag of acts. Like I've noticed, like for Z Frequency, for example, like the way I presented it or launched it was to do a single every month throughout the year, and at the end of the year, I'm going to do an album. Or you the old school way where it's just a full album, you push it out. No, I think it's great, and it's not the only thing you're into, and we can talk a little bit more a little bit later. But other projects that you're working on, you've got Freak Breed, which you've had for a while, and I guess over the last couple years you started Against the Fire, right? Yeah, and we know all those guys very well, and great band.
Shout out to those guys. What's up?
Yeah, so we're actually gonna have Corey on later on, episodes from now. But so how do you
one of the
balance...
best singers out there, man? That guy.
Oh yeah,
Corey's got a great pipe, bro.
What I loved about Corey is back in the day when it was like, it was Catfish days with Sidewalk Religion. We used to play a lot with Sidewalk Religion. Corey always treated me like a little brother, and it was really cool because those guys, him and Randall, they always would supported us. And always fun watching those guys play live.
Yeah, we all looked up to him. Me and Nick looked up to him as well, obviously. Remember all those shows we did at the fairgrounds? It was like Oblivious Sun, Hooray Hoo, Sidewalk Religion. I mean, you know what I mean?
The good old days, yeah. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
How do you balance your time and creativity between the different bands that you're involved in?
Well, I was telling Matt off camera when you were taking a break that we're empty nesters. I work every night in the studio, and
okay. So when you said you work every night, that was a studio and not like your job.
Correct. My job, okay. I do 45 to 50 hours of the career job, and then I work in the studio at night. So I'm just a workaholic, man. That's it. It's that simple.
When you love doing, like, I find myself in the studio every night as well, and I think you love doing the work. It doesn't feel like work.
It's kind of one of those things of preparedness and opportunity meet. If I've got something to mix, and then I know tomorrow Nick's got something ready for me to look at or add something or mix, and then I just bounce around and I sort of plan out my weeks that way with what needs to be done, what's coming down the pipeline, what am I sending out, what's coming in. I just kind of schedule things and get your hands rehearsal, and so that's
right. So so right now your active band that you're playing with is Against the Fire, right?
Correct.
Okay, so just to kind of fill everybody in, so like Freak Breed is kind of a collaborative effort. You've got members in, some of them are here, but then you have Nick Huff, who actually lives the other side of the country.
Yeah, he's in Virginia, in the Carolina border, and so Nick and I work remote. That's right. So Freak Breed is technically Nick, Corey, and I.
Yeah, and then with Against the Fire, they're all locally. You guys are kind of based out of Davis County, I guess, where you practice and rehearse.
Correct, and that's the performing band, the rehearsing band, and I'm demoing up our originals right now. I say demoing, but they're demos until they're not. I mean, I'm producing our originals, but we are.
My next question was, when are we going to hear some Against the
Fire? Brother. I just finished tracking rhythm guitars with Brad last Monday or Wednesday.
Right,
sorry.
Well, so let's give those boys props. So the lineup for Against the Fire is you're playing the drums, of course, because You're the drum god that takes off his shirt and
Used to.
wows the ladies, man.
Well,
Not anymore?
We had a debate with him, like, because he's like, I wonder if he'll take off his shirt. And I'm like, he may wear a tank top. You never know. But
Yeah, I wear my jersey these days. You know, I do the jersey
it's-
thing because it breathes. But yeah,
Because it breathes,
man. It's all
baby.
good.
I'm trying to get into
breathes.
fighting conditions so I can take my shirt off again. But we'll get there right now.
nice,
I feel
man.
that, man.
So you have
Right
you have Corey Peterson singing vocals. You have Brad Lewis on guitars and Francis on bass,
Correct, Scotty
right?
Francis. Yep,
And who was a member of Nine Spine Stickleback? He was a
Spine.
bassist, yeah.
that's right.
So you have Corey from Sidewalk Religion, then you have Brad Lewis, and he was with Oblivious Sun, right, too?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yep.
And the
So-
outcome, the second rendition of
Outcome, that's
Oblivious
right.
Sun, and the outcome. Yeah, it's
Did you know that Brad Lewis auditioned for Hooray Hoo back in the day?
I think he did mention something of that nature. Sure,
And
sure.
we jammed and we all went out to Applebee's and he was like, no, I don't think it's
It wasn't his
yeah.
bag. I get
Yeah,
it.
it just wasn't
He was
my
like,
jam.
"That's
It's not my
cool."
jam. Yep. It was cool, man.
Yeah, I think that's when I was in Cali when I was doing Sam with Corey and doing our
Right,
little
and you had
tour
that
in
project
Cali,
with Sam,
and,
so yeah.
and he wanted to keep jamming, and I was coming home, and I called him. I said, I'm coming home. Let's start a band, and that's when we started the outcome.
So
Actually,
so how,
sorry, we did And So first with Jeff Haight, and then that kind of morphed into the outcome.
okay. And so how often do you guys rehearse with Against the Fire?
Every week, every other week, twice a week, every other week, once a week.
That's a lot. So twice a week, 1 week, and then the second week you just do once a week.
Yeah.
Do it during usually like a weekday for hours
It's during the
or
week,
like
yeah, Mondays and Wednesdays.
cool. Like it was with Hooray Hoo, it's just tough trying to even get every other Saturday. So, I mean, we had an 8-piece band
Right.
too, and with everybody's lives, and some of us were not empty nesters, so it wasn't quite as easy. But
Sure. I know, I get it. It's tough.
Let's talk
It's tough.
yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Freak Breed. Now, Freak Breed's actually been around for a few years.
Yeah.
I remember, I want to say it was around 2015-ish, maybe
Yeah.
14, 15.
Correct.
Corey hit me up and said, "Hey, I want you to hear this new project I'm in." And I said, "All right." And I said, "Do you want to just I can't remember, like email it to me or something?" He's like, "Nah, man, I got it on a CD." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So he dropped it
Yeah.
off. I listened to it. It was like I was just blown away. I was like, there's so much of the old grunge 90s alternative rock influence, heavily Alice in Chains influence, and it was just, for me, it was refreshing because there was that scene that kind of just died off. I felt like to a degree when like bands like Green Day and Blink 182 and Sum 41, that whole like progressive punk scene just kind of uplifted, and then the kind of grunge stuff kind of just fell on the wayside. And you had other bands like Soundgarden that would kind of branch off and did audio. What's a
Slave.
Thank you, Audio Slave. I'm brain farting that, but yeah. So you guys started about that time then, I guess, right?
Yeah,
2015,
so you're right on the money.
or-
So we started it in 2013, and then we finished it in 2014, and we actually made and moved 1,000 CDs. Now, I don't know if you've been following my L-Town Productions page, but I just recently published it. So
that was the original one. You remastered it, if I
I
remember right.
had
Yeah,
my
yeah.
good friend from the Produce Like a Pro Academy, the guy that Trevor Noakes. Shout out Trevor Noakes. He's been mastering all our stuff lately. I love bouncing my mixes off a mastering engineer. I find it extremely helpful to get me that final 5 and 10% that I need. He remastered it, and it sounds better than ever. And I published
Man.
it, so it's on all streaming platforms now.
Cool. So, and then you just released a new one. So that was
Emerge. This one.
yeah, okay. So and that was like what, a month ago?
June.
Or
Remember,
June, okay.
second week of June it dropped.
So a few months ago, and then you just re-released the original album that you did. So you guys have been really active, and you say you were out working on more stuff with Freak Breed as well, right? I guess.
Yes.
We're going to go ahead and play the second song of the night. This is actually, you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about Tank's remix by Freakbreed?
Sure. So one of the projects coming down the pipe hole is a whole album of Freakbreed remixes. I selected this one because it's one of the rare and few that I actually sing leads on. So
You're singing on this.
This is my lead
Okay.
song.
We were actually wondering that. So like we were listening to it before you jumped on, and I'm like, I don't know if who's singing this. Yeah, it's a good job, man. It sounds great.
Thank you. And it is an industrialistic type track. There's a whole album of these coming. So this is the one I selected because I just really love this song.
Hey, man, well, let's go ahead and play it. This is Tank's remix by Freakbreed.
To listen to this song, please utilize the link below.
Yeah, dude.
Dig it, man.
Thanks. Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
Sort of like dark wave,
so.
like dark wave industrial, like Crosses.
It reminded me like if Lost Boys did a sequel, I could hear that being played.
Yeah, like the new romantic era, you know.
Yeah, like it's got that
the Cure meets
very Lost Boys, or like the Crow,
Goth rom.
or
yeah,
you know,
totally.
Yeah,
some gothic in there for sure.
Yeah, I dig it, man. I dig it. I want to. It's funny because like with Z Frequency, I feel like I have genre ADHD because everything I release has been like at least 4 years old, and some of it's ska, some of it's reggae, some of it's rock, some of it's like, and I've got 3 more songs coming out, and they've got to have a Gorillaz feel to them. And then
you guys
beyond
have been
that,
killing it, man. I wanted to mention I love those new drops, all 3 of those new. I like what you're doing. I like the diversity. I like the rock elements.
Thanks, man. It's
You
been
guys are killing it, man. It's sounding really good.
It's tough to market though.
I checked them all out. I think it'll get traction, man. I think that stuff's really digestible.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much easier if you could put everything into one box. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, but
do you do any marketing at all? Have you thought about that?
Sure. Yeah, so we're talking to one of those guys right now that they do the Spotify playlist
promoting.
Yeah.
It's a rabbit hole to go down, dude. I'm telling you right now. Like,
I've been researching all those guys, the curators, if you will, the playlist curators.
Yeah.
I've been talking to a few of them, dude. We're trying to figure out something. So
yeah,
just to get a little traction.
Sure. I mean, I think you might have a better shot than I did. Like I submitted, and it was a promotional website called Submit Link, and they're a legit site. They don't use bots, but basically you pay a fee and they give you like credits, and those credits are like you can have a pitch to certain curators based on your genre, and they have so many days to respond whether they like it or not. And so far I think I got 14 playlists with the amount, which was only like $30 or something like that. All of them.
See, I feel like your stuff's doing really good, man. Like, you get those spots and you're getting those plays in rotation, and
yeah, but all that is actually through actual advertising that I've come up with on my own, like paid advertising through Meta Ads and Instagram, the playlisting
when I was market
stuff,
testing Apophis, there was a song that got naturally thrown into one of those playlists on SoundCloud, and so out of nowhere, this was before I released the album, out of nowhere, the song Circles got 1,700 plays in like 2 weeks.
Awesome, man. Like
it was crazy.
Hell yeah, dude.
It was
like
crazy.
SoundCloud, I love SoundCloud, but like there's
it's good for market testing, honestly. That's what it's good for.
I think SoundCloud is good because you can market test, or you can just throw demos out. It doesn't like it's
exactly.
Kind of like the underground streaming kind of thing, like where people don't really care so much.
Place. But
yeah, like I don't get I don't think Z Frequency gets a whole lot of traction off SoundCloud. I don't even know that we really promote it that much, but we are there. And Bandcamp's another one that I would love to have more traction on, but
Spotify is the big one to me, and like the Apophis stuff to me has been pretty user-friendly and palatable as well. Some of the Freak Breed stuff's kind of gnarly. So, I mean, I don't know if you listen to the whole Emerge album, but there's a handful of songs on that album that are pretty gnarly, you know?
No, it's
So,
definitely emotionally driven for sure.
yeah, and the remix stuff, we purposefully wanted it to be a little more friendly and a little more melodic and a little less gnarly so that it could be maybe perhaps a little more palatable.
So with the remix stuff, do you add, well, because Freak Breed actually plays with synth too. Like even back then, I think there was a couple songs you played with some more
Dude,
synth.
it's in the vein of like a Perfect Circle emotive, the Filter remixes, Nine Inch Nails remixes. Like Nick and I are huge fans of just remix albums, generally speaking. And so it's taking a song and just flipping it inside out and seeing what happens.
And well, because you have basically the stems, it's real easy to remix.
Yeah, and that's the whole exercise. And you get stuff like the Takes remix, and that's kind of how that happens. It's fun. It's really fun.
And you were speaking of Apophis, which we're going to go into now. So Apophis is kind of like your new project, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's pretty new. Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Apophis is actually an asteroid that for a long time people were feared that it was going to crash into the Earth on April 13th, 2029.
Yeah.
They've since discovered like, oh, it's probably not going to hit the Earth, but it's going to come damn close. So they're still a little worried about the kind of ramifications, but I was talking with Matt about this a little bit earlier, but they discovered another one, and it's supposed to come around 2032 that is about the same size that is going to hit Earth.
They in fact decided in the end that Apophis was going to miss the Earth.
But 19,000 miles is pretty damn close, man.
Yeah,
like, that's scary
further
close.
back in time, Apophis comes from Egyptology, actually. So
that's where it was.
Correct. So it's kind of a double entendre. Sure.
Yeah. So what's the story? What is Apophis then?
So it was the songs that Nick and I had to relegate that weren't Freak Breed songs that we were working on that have a very much an industrial, dark wave, synth wave, electro house feel. It's still in the vein of rock for sure, okay? But this was the stuff that we just could not slot into Freak Breed. We came up with Apophis so that we could still get it out because we loved the stuff, we loved the material and the songs.
So it's kind of like
we had to find
the evolution of Freak Breed, but it was so far we're like, years like, yeah, this isn't. We can't really call it Freak Breed, so you just kind of created a whole new project. I gotta mention,
Nick is a hyper creative, so he's constantly writing. So, if it's not a Freak Breed song, it's an Apophis song. And if it's not an Apophis song, it's something else. So Nick is just a super creative person, and I had to help him sift through tons and tons of material and stems, and we came up with the Apophis so that we had to find a home for this stuff.
I love it, man. I love it. We will see the way I have the outline is set up where that we're gonna play Slave by Apophis. Go ahead and get into that. Do you want to go ahead and describe?
Yeah, I want to mention something. Slaves features a Corey Peterson guest vocal. So
cool.
It's like,
oh man, there's no shame in that.
It
dude.
really spoke to him. He was over for rehearsal, and I played him it, and he's like, "Dude, let me try something real quick." And I let him lay a vocal, and I loved it so much that it ended up on the record, and I ended up, pinning him in the credits.
So with Apophis, Nick sings too, right? Does he have a vocal parts? Okay, so you kind of all kind of rotate
throughout the album.
vocals.
We all sing. Yeah,
cool, man. So Nick writes a lot of the, say like the arrangement, or like he's kind of like the original like a blueprint of this track, and then or
you can
kind of bounce back and forth.
Yeah, I help him with arrangements often, but he does write the skeletons and the stems, and he throws them my way, and I help him sort of lay out the arrangements a little. Sometimes they don't need anything. Sometimes they need some arrangement work. It just depends. Nick's a hyper creative, so he doesn't care. Sometimes he knows that I'm going to fix the arrangement for him, and he just sends it.
Well, I mean, having that amount of time to work with somebody like with Matt, I know do a vocal arrangement. I know Matt can slip in and do backing vocals, and I don't even have to think about it, which is pretty convenient because a lot of times when I'm writing it, do a scratch, and I'll think, this is okay, but it's missing something, and so I kind of like lean on him, the other guys that to lift it up, and it usually does come out lifted up. But
the word is this, and it's what I discussed with Jeff Huso when we started Ariel's Bones too, is I'm like, okay, write something and don't be too precious about it. Know that it's going to get kind of messed with and arranged, and just write and don't be precious. It's similar with Nick. Sometimes Nick just writes and he's not precious and he knows that I'm going to help him kind of work out the kinks.
no, and like especially with Z Frequency, like all of this stuff come out, of like these original arrangements that I've done, and as I send them off to Mike Lomax and Wim Becker and Jeff Aaron on bass and Matt and other horn lines and Craigle, and I know that it will never come back sounding. It may sound similar to the original composition, but almost always comes out more evolved and better. And I'm at that point, it's like everyone gets excited, like so.
Yeah, it's fun to work like that, and it's fun. That's collaboration for you, It's fun.
Yeah, dude.
Collaborate.
So let's go ahead and
I've learned to be not so precious myself. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing, like, with some of the songs, you're like, I tell Solson, he's done work with us too. He's also a guitarist for Hooray Hoo, and he had come up with some stuff that he's written, and I think I told him, I think he asked me to record some scratched vocals, and I did, and it came back, and he's like, it's not what it's not what I had visioned, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna put it to you like this, dude. If in a song to me and you don't know exactly how you want it sung, then you're gonna have to let that part go. Like, you're gonna have to expect it to be different than what you originally envisioned, because
that is collaboration to the.
Because if not, then don't share it. You know what I mean? Like,
often when you get more people involved, I think it just becomes more. There's more depth to it. It becomes more textured. It becomes better.
Signature to each of those members that contributed.
Exactly.
Like, so that's why our songs like Z Frequency doesn't have the same guitarist on every track. And you can tell through what you're hearing.
Yeah,
but
we've had Rick Anderson, we've had Wim Becker, we've had Jeff Huso. Jeff Huso's been on a couple of tracks and played
great
guitar and bass.
Of musicians to draw from, for sure.
We just got a new one named John McCollum, who actually I grew up with when I would go spend every other weekend at my dad's. He was a kid that lived in the neighborhood, and reached out to him he reached out to me, I think. But, like, hell yeah, let's do this, and he was actually in a working band, right? So like, what I mean by working band, he was like a corporate band, like they'd play weddings and bar mitzvahs and corporate events, and he was like a cover band for hire, and he did that for like 15 years, and I think they just recently wrapped up, and so I think that's when he reached out and he says, hey, I got some free time on my hands now, and I'm like, well, hell yeah, dude. So, and he's done some amazing work too. So I love being in. I feel so blessed being around and surrounded by such talented people like you, Dave. And
absolutely, I feel the same way. And
it makes
you work with these guys, and you're confident. Like, Jeff's learning that I'm not going to take him into the weeds. I'm going to still embrace the original artistry that he injected. I'm not going to take him into the weeds, and Nick knows I'm not going to take him into the weeds. So there's a little bit of trust built, and it takes a while.
With as many projects, because you have another one that's like a rap thing with Aten, is that it, or Aten? Yeah, and
another word from ancient Egypt, actually.
Ah, there you go. So, but you're so busy with all these other projects, it's not like you're going to get hung up on one. Like, gosh, I wish you would finish that track. Like, you're like, okay, well, when you're ready, bring it down, and meanwhile I'll be working on this thing. And then I guess if you have nothing going on, you're probably doing a deep dive and learning how to your skills in sound engineering and recording, and one of these days I want
That's
to.
absolutely right too, man. I went down the rabbit hole of songcraft myself, man. I started to learn how to songcraft from scratch just so that I could get stronger with it.
And one of these days I would love to have a tour of your studio. Maybe
come
put it
over,
on our YouTube
sure.
channel for just a tour of your awesome studio.
Come check it out.
I'm always jealous of all your pictures, man. I'm like, oh, that not just one room, you know, like all of us have like one little corner, or like Jeff has a closet. You know, I'm lucky enough to have a small bedroom. But like
Well,
you have like a whole basement, man, you know. And
yeah,
so yeah.
it's supposed to be a creative atmosphere. And, I just got back from Joe Bracey's workshop, who I look up to. He's a hero of mine. And one of the things he said in class was, I decorate my studio because I want it to look like my bedroom when I was 17,
Yes.
And that's exactly what I've got going on here. You know what I mean? This is my bedroom when I was 17, dude.
Same here.
It's a very creative environment,
It's got it's just
like
creative
you
environment.
can't come down here without getting some sort of nostalgia or some creative thought provoked.
Stimulant of something, like
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, let's dive into let's see. This is Slave by Apophis. Here's the last song of the night.
Thank you.
It's been released, right? So
Yeah, this is out.
yeah, it's out on all the streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Amazon, YouTube, you name it all. Okay. All right, here we go.
To listen to this song, please utilize the link below.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, it was a fun project, you guys, for sure. I should mention that for those people out there watching, if you put in, because there's a lot of Apophis projects, not necessarily bands, but like weird stuff like video game soundtracks and other soundtracks. It's weird. So if you put in Apophis 2029, the album will pop right up.
Nice, man. So you I guess you're CEO ranked in that search engine optimization, but right on, man. Well, that was Slave by Apophis. And let's talk a little bit about Against the Fire. That's we're going to have you back once that album comes out for sure, man.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any live shows planned in the future? Or?
Yeah, I'll just say that there's a few things in the works, and I'm trying to do an EP simultaneously as well. And so, yeah.
Well, you're one of the hardest working musicians that I know, man. And so we'll go ahead and we're going to wrap this up, but we usually close this out by kind of asking where people can find your stuff. And I believe you kind of mostly operate with L-Town Productions, right?
Correct. So, okay, on Facebook, there is at L-Town Productions. There's also at Freak Breed Music.
Okay. And I'll put links to all of this stuff in the
and there's
description
also
as well.
at Against the Fire.
Against the Fire has their own page too. So, and then you personally, I'll go ahead and plug out your Instagram profile there, where people can click on that and reach you there personally. So right on, Dave. I just wanted to say was thrilled to have you on, man. I know when you first started doing your podcast, I was one of your guests, and I was honored to be a part of that. And
that was fun, man.
Yeah. So you got
any
more episodes coming out?
Well, there's a couple things that I'm trying to lock down. Actually, I don't have the time to put in for the real production value that I want. Like, I'm really impressed with what you're doing, and I'm a fan of what you guys are doing, and I'll just support your podcast.
Hell yeah,
I may do
dude.
a couple more here and there. Okay, I will probably, but
we'll have you back.
I'm here to support you, bro. This has been cool.
Yeah,
I like what you guys are doing.
It's what's funny is we started this off as kind of like, hey, this would be fun. Let's try it out, and right about that time, you're like, hey, I'm doing a podcast. You should be on it. I'm like, cool. And then
obviously I threw it together because I needed to get some information out there, and I really didn't have the time or resources to put into the production value. But
even if you did it's keep doing the videos. Like even if you did like videos of behind the scenes stuff of what you're doing with Against the Fire, I encourage that. Like it doesn't have to be a podcast. It can just be like little video clips, or because I know you posted a couple, like you did a vocal chain, and then you did a tour of your studio, and that I love that stuff, man. I eat it up. So you should do some more of that. And then that doesn't realize, I know what you mean by being too busy, because we're on our 6th episode. You're number 6 right now.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so and we're booked up all the way into November at this point.
That's excellent. That's
And
great.
it's very time consuming. There's a lot of work involved. So to the point where Matt has to remind me, like, hey, there's a band that you're in that you should work on too. So
Yeah, I know, man, and I'm stoked for you guys, and I love what you're doing for our community, our music scene and our music community.
We're all
So keep up the good work.
do, man, for sure. And let's see, I think that's about it. Any other shout outs you want to do,
man?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, my
man.
pleasure. You guys are awesome. I just want to shout out to all my bandmates and all the projects: Jeff Huso, Nick Huff, Corey, Scotty, Brad. Watch out for Freak Breed, the remix album. Then there's gonna be Apophis remix, and then there's the Against the Fire EP.
I'm excited for that. So
I got enough stuff to keep me busy for a whole nother year probably. So
well, man, we've been working together in this industry for years and years and years, from way back in the day, and I respect the hell out of you, and man, my hat's off to you for
samesies, bro.
All the hard work, and just like Zach said, dude, you're one of the hardest working men in this industry, and
well.
So props to you, man.
To you guys, bro.
Much love,
respect and love everything you guys do. So thank you for having me on. It's been an honor, and so I'm stoked for this podcast. I want to see it kick ass, man. It's gonna go big.
Yeah, like I would love for it. So, but I was gonna tell you, one of the plans for Z Frequency coming up next year is we're gonna try to figure out how to incorporate a live gig. I would love to be an opening act for Against Fire one of these days. Just gonna throw that out there.
All right.
Let the guys know, like, hey, man.
Or the other way around, but we can always make something happen for sure.
Yeah, we're I have no idea how it's gonna look, man, because there's not one single member that is like a continuing. We don't rehearse, It's like there's so the band that does a live gig might be some of the members, like Matt, I'm sure. But it might be a rotation even. I have no idea what it's going to look like, bro. But not even be a full band. It may be only like 3 or 4 members.
It'll be Matt and Zach
for the rest.
and anybody else that wants to come along. But if there's a live gig, you can be assured that it'll be
more power to you for sure.
It'll usually be Matt and Zach. If not, it'll just be Zach.
I'll support that notion all day.
And then I believe real quick, to next guest is going to be Jason Bradford from a synth pop group called The Son of a Ghost. So be sure to stay tuned for that.
I am very excited for this one. I go back into my childhood with Jason Bradford.
I love synth pop.
I'm sure that we'll end up down a Boy Scout camp rabbit hole at some point.
I wanted. He was in a band, Shane Franz, right?
Yeah, he was in a band called Native Tongue with a friend named Shane Franz. Well, they were both from Salt Lake, from my neck of the woods.
Okay, all right. Name sounds familiar, but and apparently we played with him, but I don't.
Yeah, we played with them at Club Stars back in the day.
Gosh, yeah. I see the flyer. Flyer in my head. Okay,
and we didn't have a
Dave,
band
we're going
name,
off on a rant here, man. But
no, that's cool. Cool.
So anyway. Awesome. So you got Ariel's Bones, you've got Apophis, you've got Freak Breed, you got Against the Fire. This dude is on fire, and there's no stopping this train, man. Dave, we're gonna have you back, man. Take care, brother.
Thank you.
Love you, man.
Dave. Thanks,
all right,
man.
Guys. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching. More information about Dave Hunsaker and the ZHZ Podcast can be found in the description below. Wishing you a splendid day.